Hey guys, Dennis here with Revog Games. I'm joined by
Joshua Weyers, all the way in South Africa,
yes,
where it's freezing right now. By the way,
it's actually kind of gloomy here. I told you it's been the weather here in Los Angeles has not been typical Los Angeles weather. A lot of rain, a lot of gloomy
yeah,
days. I feel like I'm in like Seattle or something like that. Yeah, it's so much so
all
I
the
had to like
all the
turn on the
yeah.
light. I had to turn on the light because it's like
Oh, that's
gloomy
funny.
outside.
Man,
Um,
it's I mean, obviously a lot of influencers stay in LA, so every time I'm seeing like their posts, it does look a lot like Seattle. Yeah,
yeah,
it does look pretty. Like even parts of LA almost looked a bit like London. I was like, oh wow, that looks not like LA at all. You know?
Yeah, it's gonna be June in a couple days here, and it's still like this. We didn't get the spring. What I'm worried about is we're gonna jump straight from winter. What Los Angeles considers winter, which is rain
Yeah.
and being cold, but not really that cold compared to the East Coast or Canada or something like that. But anyways, I'm afraid that we're gonna jump from that to like summer. So there's gonna be no spring because like spring is like
There's gonna be no in between. Yeah.
yeah, because really spring and fall is supposed to be the best weather, but
Yeah. So
kind
you
of
get that
skipping over.
California super bloom, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But anyways, this is the Revog Games podcast. This is where
The
we
gaming
yeah, yeah,
podcast
yeah.
where we
Not
yeah.
the weather channel, but we talk about games, gaming news, what games we've been playing, all that cool stuff. Actually, we got some pretty good news,
Oh
size
yeah.
stuff recently. Starting off with the PlayStation Showcase, which kind of snuck up on us because I think they kind of said, "Hey, we're gonna have the showcase," and then they just had it. There wasn't no build up because I had assumed that they would have waited to. Obviously, there's no E3 this year, but kind of Xbox and I think Nintendo and some other bigger third party companies were planning to do their showcases around when E3 was supposed to happen. And so I had assumed PlayStation was going to do the same thing, but they kind of decided to get things started early. And there was a lot of big reveals. Um, I don't think there was anything like earth shattering. There wasn't like a big announcement like Last of Us Part 3 or
I
Uncharted
mean,
6 or,
I
you know what I
was
mean?
yeah, I was not expecting a mobile device to be dropped though, you
Mm,
know what I mean? I
yeah.
thought they were done with that, like done after the PSP and then the PSP Vita, which was actually a pretty great device. It
Hmm.
just did not sell well compared to the Nintendo handheld devices, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. So let's talk about the big thing. We get this Spider-Man 2 trailer, which gameplay trailer,
Oh, it
which
looked
is
so good,
it's
man.
like 10 minutes long. You get to see Spider-Man using the symbiote suit in action. It's basically a tag team affair, right? You got him, the
Yeah.
Peter Parker Spider-Man, you get the Miles Morales Spider-Man, and you kind of like jump around between each one of who you get to play, and they kind of team up story-wise, team up together. It seems like if people are familiar with this, either they've watched Spider-Man 3 or they read the comic books like myself, the symbiote suit is kind of makes Peter into a much it changes his personality, kind of digs his
Mm.
claws into him. He becomes more
The Spider-Man
impatient,
3 movie.
angry. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
not
Spider-Man 3, the movie, kind of gets into that a little bit.
yes, not
The
not in
Tobey Maguire one, that is.
yeah, not in the best ways. But I read the
Yeah.
comic book, so if people know that's eventually how Venom
No
comes
dance
comes.
scenes in the comic books.
no,
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 no angsty dance scenes and on tables and
no,
weird,
no,
weird emo phases.
no. But
That was
anyone who
that was a weird movie, man.
yeah, anyone who reads the comic books knows that symbiote eventually leaves because they show that in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans, but then like when you see the Venom movie, it just kind of it's like a separate origin story. It's like has nothing to do
Yeah,
with Spider-Man. Where it's really starts off with Spider-Man, then he lets go of it. He asks Reed Richards to find a way to get it off of him, which he does, and then later Eddie Brock gets the symbiote suit. Anyways, so you're seeing that in this kind of gameplay trailer. You're seeing how probably I'm guessing that Miles Morales is going to have to find a way to get Peter back to normal. Like to get
yeah.
him up.
That's most likely going to be the case. Yeah.
Yeah. But you get to see a lot of the cool gameplay, swinging around, following, chasing the boats in the water. They'll.
I've been looking forward to this because
Hmm.
it's like I enjoyed. I recently played Miles Morales again. Well, I
Hmm.
haven't finished Miles Morales, but overall, I definitely enjoyed Spider-Man more. Like
Hmm.
the first game, you know what I mean? I just enjoyed like the combat mechanics more, like the game overall. So I'm really looking forward to the second game. Not that there was nothing wrong with Miles Morales. I just enjoyed the first Spider-Man game more.
Hmm.
This looks so good though, man. I can't wait for it.
Yeah, and you have new move sets with the symbiote suit. Miles
And it's
Morales
definitely going
has.
to get a PC release as well because I think it was very well received on PC.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Unlike The Last of Us, which did not.
yeah.
But they also that was like a whole 10-minute thing. Then they released another like side trailer with a reveal of Kraven the Hunter, which has been rumored for a long time of being like the villain for Spider-Man 2. We
He's got
saw.
the fluffy jacket.
Yeah. We got to see a little bit of the lizard, Dr. Connors, in the 10-minute trailer, but this one's like a shorter, like 2.5 minute trailer, just showing Kraven the Hunter. So that was
Man, the
nice.
symbiote powers look so sick.
Yeah. But yeah, look, hopefully, I never finished the first Spider-Man because I had bought it on the PS4. Yeah, the
Yeah.
PS4, and I played a good part, not a good part, but a few hours of it, and then I forgot. I got sidetracked with something else, and I don't know. Lately, I've just been kind of wanting to just play everything on my PC versus
Yeah. I
either
mean,
my
I will
Xbox or
say,
my
dude,
PS.
that sorry, yeah, the Spider-Man remaster for PC, that thing, dude, it purrs on the
Hmm.
on our graphics card. I've been playing it at like 2K ultra graphics, unlimited frames.
Hmm.
Dude, it purrs. It's beautiful.
Nice. I'll probably wait because I've seen some
I think it's
sale.
on sale. It's on sale right now on this on the Epic Game
Yeah,
Store,
I've seen some
and
sales,
there's a
but
coupon. You also get a coupon you can claim through your settings that gives you a bonus 15% off.
nice. Yeah, it's just that the thing. It's one of those things where, like, because I own the
The
PS4
time sync as
version,
well. Yeah,
yeah, time sync. But it's like, oh, I already own it. Like, why
doesn't
don't I?
justify getting a new one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Why don't I just play it on the PS and then I don't? But
I mean it
anyways,
does look better on PC, but
yeah,
fair enough. I mean, like I recommend finishing it. It's a good game. It's a
yeah.
fun game. You know what I mean?
I heard the story's great too.
If you
Uh,
just stick to like the story missions, you can kind of blow through the game pretty quickly as well.
yeah. Also announced at the PlayStation Showcase was a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, and it's
Mm,
called. What's it called? It has like a strange
Snake
name to.
Eater.
Yeah, Snake Eater, like Delta Snake Eater or
Yeah.
whatever the hell it's called. But anyways, I've never been a big Metal Gear Solid person. I've kind of always been more of a Splinter Cell person. The only Metal Gear, honestly, I've ever played is the OG NES version. But apparently this is a big deal. There's a lot of remakes, coming down
Oh
the pipe.
yeah.
So,
It looks great though.
hmm
Like it graphics wise. Excuse me, looks great.
yeah, they showed a little
Also not
little
yeah,
teaser.
I'm also not the biggest Metal Gear Solid fan. I played one or two,
Hmm.
and I enjoyed it for the most part, but I I love Metal Gear Revengeance. It's like a side game that they did. It's like a hack and slash side game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It has
Hmm.
it has this combat mechanic where you can kind of slow down, like freeze time, and you can slice and dice an enemy like 100 times, and they'll actually fall into all those little individual tiny pieces that you sliced up. It was such a cool mechanic. But yeah, dude, I pray that that game gets a sequel one day. It was so sick. Hack and slash Metal Gear game. But this is hype for a lot of people. For a lot of people, this is like a really big thing.
Hmm.
For me, not so much. But I'm excited for everybody who's excited by it. You know.
Hmm. You had teased this earlier. PlayStation also announced a dedicated streaming device, but it's not exactly what I don't know what we thought it or could be. So it's not like a
Mm.
Steam Deck. It's not like this new Asus what you call it, Ally. Um, it's it's a
It's actually
streaming
kind of
device.
useless now that I think about it. Yeah.
Well, it's useless if you don't. if you don't plan on playing PlayStation 5 games within the confines of your own home, because basically you're playing remote play over Wi-Fi. It's basically a DualSense controller with a screen in the middle, an 8-inch
I'm
screen.
starting to think I understand why they got rid of PlayStation Now
Hmm.
as a service in its entirety and why they incorporated that into the PS Plus program and then moved it over because back when you could still just you have PS Now on its own, you could use it through a web browser and you could stream PS3 and PS4 games onto your PC or even onto your Xbox through the browser, which means that you could have done all of this just through your cell phone normally, but paying like the monthly subscription fee. But I guess this is, I don't know what the price on it is. It looks great, like it looks great, but like you said, you have to have a PS5 to kind of use it,
Yeah.
and then it's like it's definitely a I can see it working though. Like it's a luxury. I don't think it's going to sell super well. But for people that don't have handheld devices who are lazy, I could see them like lying in bed playing the games. Especially cuz it does look like one of the most comfortable things you can hold compared to other like handheld gaming stuff, you know?
Yeah, I don't think there's a price, and I don't think the name is because it's just.
The earbuds look sick though. They look so dope.
Yeah, I
The
think
the
that.
wireless ear, like they're extra. That's like, but I guess whenever Sony launches something, they have to launch it with accessories, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, those wireless Bluetooth buds do look dope as fuck. They're so unnecessary, but they look so dope.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like if you want to play games and you're sitting on the toilet or like from your
You're lying
bed,
down in
yeah,
bed or something. Like it, I know some people that would actually like that would love this. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But I don't think the market is that huge. Also, like the market's already limited because you have to own a PS5, and then there's even like a smaller percentage of PS5 owners that are going to be like, hell yeah, I'll fork out. Well, it looks
yeah,
like it's going to be, and like it looks like it's going to be a hefty price to it too. You know what I mean? Not like not like Steam Deck prices, or it's still going to be cheaper than its opposing handheld things because it's streaming it, but it's still going to be knowing Sony. It's still going to be pricey. What do you if you had to
yeah.
guess? What would you guess?
Oh
Anything over
man,
$200 and they can suck a dick.
it's gonna be over $200.
They can that like why? It's a streaming device. It's basically
Why? Why? Okay, why
a
is the
cell phone with gaming handles
Okay, why is the
attached.
PSVR2 so expensive? All the processing
Oh
power
god
is
damn.
from the PS5.
True. Yeah,
Well, I mean, we're
but
gonna talk
man,
about the
that's
sales a little bit about PSVR2 later, but
dude.
I'm guessing
Yeah.
I'm guessing 250 to 300. That's my guess.
Can't you like remote play from your phone anyways? Like
I mean, with Xbox you
I'm
can.
pretty
I'm not
sure
sure about PS.
I'm pretty sure you can with PlayStation. You can remote play with your cell phone. I'm pretty sure you can. I think you could do that back on the PS4 already. So it's like I once again I don't get it. I guess I mean it'll be up. I would imagine less latency and things like
Mm,
that and whatever.
yeah.
Once again, it looks sick, but I think it's a little impractical. You know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you have a big house and you have like
Mm.
you have one PS5 and it's like in this
I mean,
one
this is a luxury
area,
on
like
top of a. This is like a yeah.
it's like a TV that everybody uses, and if you can't use the TV, you can just use this instead. I don't know. It's just
That's true.
very specific use cases. It's not for
Yeah,
me. I don't have
and
a
I can see that.
PS5.
Yeah.
Even if I have a PS5, I'm not going
In a
to.
family scenario,
Mm,
parents want to watch TV, you can't use the
yeah,
TV.
yeah,
Like it makes sense in those scenarios. Like you're right, there's very specific scenarios it works in. But this is like I said, it's a luxury
luxury
on
for
top of a
sure.
luxury. It's
Yes.
a luxury on top of a luxury. So it's like having the PS5 is already a luxury. Having this is like an ex like you don't need this.
No.
You really don't need this. This is I mean you can argue you don't need a PS5 either, but like you really don't need this. This is like a luxury on top of a luxury. It's definitely going to be a nice thing to have, but I doubt many people are going to be buying it. Like I don't see a second iteration coming along in a few years.
No, don't think so either.
And this is a one and done, you know.
Yeah. All
But
right.
man, those Bluetooth headbuds, I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
they do look. I might just get like if they sell those on their own, I might
Yeah,
just
but
get them.
what about the price though?
Oh, I don't. I mean, like if they're close to AirPod pricing, I don't mind. I'd imagine this the quality is about the same, you know.
Yeah. All right. Here, there's another thing that was not part of the showcase, but it kind of. I think they decided to kind of drop this news during the show or around the same time, just to let people know, which is The Last of Us multiplayer is kind of going to be delayed, and that Naughty Dog is saying, "Hey, we're going to kind of they're not stopping development, but I think they're slowing down development slash deprioritizing it. It says they need more time. I mean, that's the thing with these multiplayer games, right? Like you've seen even something as big as Halo, which was a multiplayer, I mean, it had a single player game that everyone loved, but there was a lot of people already playing the multiplayer thing. Seeing how they're struggling to keep their multiplayer game alive. I don't know. It's just a lot of companies are trying to ride this Fortnite, and I think Apex Legends is probably the closest. I mean, obviously you had Overwatch, but even Overwatch is starting to die down. CS:GO 2, maybe that's gonna come up. Obviously, you play Valorant.
CS:GO's those. Excuse me. Yeah. Those are two very different genres, though.
Yeah.
I will say you're right though, because Fortnite hit they got the gold mine. Everybody tried to make a battle royale. That seems to be slowing down these days. Less people are going for it. Like I'm imagining. Well, they could do a battle royale, I guess, if they wanted to. The Last of Us multiplayer system. I hope they don't. I hope they go for like the actual multiplayer of the Last of Us game. But like, because I would pay for it. I wouldn't want it to be a free to play service where they churn out things like that. I'd rather it be something you pay $60 for and be a full multiplayer experience. Like I would rather that than it be free to play and I get like a bunch of shitty microtransactions here and there. Because it's not the kind of game where I would see that working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not it's not like Apex and Fortnite. Like they all have like colorful characters and like stuff that like you would want as a microtransaction, colorful gear and things that would like suit that world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want like, oh Ellie, you can get the purple gun. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Joel,
like it's different.
You get the neon green attachment to your rifle. You know, like no, that's not.
No, I would hate it, man. Yeah, it's like Fortnite works because it looks cartoony. So you can be Batman or Superman or whatever. It works for that sake. Yeah. So yeah, they are they are facing setbacks, but I'd rather they make this good. You know what I mean? The thing is, as well, if they are strictly working on combat mechanics based off of the games, I don't see this multiplayer game having longevity. You know what I mean? They'd have to change things quite a bit, I'd imagine, which is what I'm hoping they're doing, because then they can make something that can last a bit longer, you know?
Yeah. But also, I mean, this is not new news, but they kind of reiterated that they're still focusing on their brand new single player experience, which we still don't know what it is. We don't know if it's. I doubt it's Last of Us Part 3. I feel like it's going to be a new IP, right? Because they kind of said they were kind of done with Uncharted as well. So I feel like it's going to be a new IP. So
I hope so. Well, yeah, I hope so. I don't know. It would be nice and fresh to see something new. I'm over Uncharted. I give that like 5 years and they can reboot the franchise maybe, but I'm over it. I'm sure a lot of other people are as well.
So also, what else? Oh, this one I was super excited about. Now this, I forgot to mention, the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake it's not exclusive to PlayStation, but you would think it's exclusive to PlayStation because it was announced during their showcase. We know that Hideo Kojima is very tight with, even though I don't think he owns that property anymore. But anyways, PlayStation, you think of PlayStation and Metal Gear Solid as being together, but it's also going to be launching on the Xbox and PC as well. This Alan Wake 2, I'm very excited about. This also, even though it's at the show,
good.
Even though it was at the PlayStation Showcase, this is also going to be for PC and Xbox as well. It's going to launch on October 17th. Looks great. I love Alan Wake. I love the first game.
Epic Game Store has been advertising the crap out of it. Like every time I open up the Epic Game Store, it's all I see is Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, I will be buying this for sure. I'm most likely going to get it on PC. It's coming on October 17th of this year. The trailer looks great. It's interesting because you're playing not just as Alan Wake, as other characters as well. It looks like this female cop character.
Like new characters. Okay, that's tight.
Yeah, because this is supposed to take place much later.
Saga Anderson.
Yeah, so
new playable character Saga Anderson. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then of course there is the Final Fantasy 16 trailer, a new trailer that doesn't add much like to the game in terms of combat mechanics or
Hmm.
anything like that. But it just makes me so mad that I can't play the game because it's just it got me so stoked for the game once again. It's like I can't play it. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like maybe I can.
Unless you get that PS5.
I know, man. I know I'd prefer the camera though, because then I can go film some short films as well. You know
Yeah, it's always
what I mean? Um,
helpful.
I should just borrow my buddy's PS5 for like a week. Like just pay him like I'll pay him like $200.
Hmm.
Uh, no, maybe like $100. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
200. You're
But
on your way to get buying the actual system. So
no, you no, not out
not
here,
here.
buddy. We
Oh,
have
okay.
we have like a 30% import tax. It's dude, I told you like a PS5 out here is like $600, $700. It's
Damn.
fucking crazy, man.
Which
It's
is funny
bananas.
because your games are all cheap, but your hardware is like super expensive.
Yeah. Well, some Steam changed a couple of that. A lot of companies are changing their regional pricing, which sucks because currently it's like the games were cheap, but like I think a lot of the games are fair priced.
Hmm.
They hit a certain point which was like 800 rand, which to me feels like $60 in South Africa. Like it feels like, even though
Hmm.
it's not, when you look at like the conversion rate, it's just like in terms of like your cost of living and stuff, it feels that feels like $60. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
now games are going up to like 1,400 out here, which
That's
is
crazy.
starting to yeah, which is like an actual direct like translation of like the money. That's
Yeah.
like $60 roughly, but that's a lot of money out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, in America, there's a lot of money out here too nowadays, especially now that they're
Yeah,
seventy
dude.
dollars.
70 fucking dollars. Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
Hell.
Um,
And what the thing that I'm still most upset about, and maybe it's because they don't want to think about it because they're just so swamped with trying to get this game out on time because it's coming out June 22nd, so that's soon. Final Fantasy 16. And the last time they were asked about a PC version, the guy was so like, he's like, no, don't even ask me about that. Doesn't exist. I don't have any plans. But
mhm.
it has to come to PC eventually because every single Final Fantasy has made it to PC.
Uh,
So they have to.
Eventually, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, fuck,
Uh,
it's probably gonna take year and a half. That's what it was like with Final Fantasy 15. It took so long to get the PC version out and for them
mhm.
to like optimize it for PC. I think it took like a year, about a year and a half for the PC version to come out, I think. But then it was like a whole different like enhanced edition for PC and stuff, which was quite tight.
Mhm. Briefly, they did a real trailer for the date of Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is coming October 12th, and this is for all systems, except for Nintendo Switch. Um, yeah, we got Final Fantasy. Dragon's Dogma 2 gets a new trailer. Let's
Yeah, Dragon's
see.
Dogma was a tight game.
I
I hope that
bought
they
it
like
on sale, but I never
yeah.
played it. I mean, recently bought it on sale because it's an old
The
game.
story was average, and people
Mm-hmm.
might hate me for that, but the mechanics were great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I hope that they build on that, or just give us an interesting story, one of the two. What's this marathon? I didn't see this. First of all,
So,
you were right. This PlayStation showcase came out of nowhere. The only
well,
reason I knew about it was because I was on YouTube, and then it was like on my top recommended feed. It was already like halfway through at that point. So I managed to catch like a bit of it towards the end, but I don't know what this marathon is.
so
I think
Marathon
we
was
spoke about it, right?
well,
Like a while ago.
Marathon was the first game. I believe it's the first game Bungie ever released back in the day, and
Oh
that
yeah,
was
and there
kind.
was they made references to it in every other game they've made as well, I
Yeah,
think.
so it's like it was a precursor to Halo. So they made
Mm,
Marathon. Bungie then was picked up by Microsoft as they were developing Halo, and then yeah, so now they're kind of going back to it because they still own the IP. So it's going to be interesting to see
yeah, the trailer
kind of
didn't show us much, but it was very stylized,
yeah.
building some hype, I guess.
Yeah, it says game is PvP focused and not there won't be a single player campaign. So yeah, Bungie's up on this multiplayer shiz.
Yeah,
Now they
and we saw some more Street Fighter 6.
yeah
Which is like all in all looking pretty good. Like
yeah.
I'm interested in this whole story mode, create your own fighter thing. It's a
Hmm.
bit niche. I don't think it's like going to be the most exciting thing ever, but it's going to be nice to play that because for the most part, and I think about this a lot about fighting games because I love fighting games, but they're like not really fun to play alone. You know what I mean? Like
Mm,
you kind of want somebody there on the couch with you, and even playing online kind of feels a bit dead to me. So it's nice to like have that single player kind of mode or aspect to play around as well. So the game has more worth than, being brought out like every like once every like 2 or 3 months at like a barbecue or something, you know what I mean?
mm,
Or um I don't know. But yeah, I am looking forward to it. The graphics do look pretty good. It looks better than that Brian Fury gameplay trailer that dropped. I'm excited for Tekken 8, but like I said, that trailer was very underwhelming in terms of graphics. It doesn't really look scream next gen to me. You know what I mean?
yeah. So I don't want to go over every game that they showed, but what are some highlights
Yeah,
to you? I mean, for me, Arizona Sunshine
that was
2,
it, man. Pretty much.
which is it's a VR game. It's the people who made After the Fall. It's basically a zombie shooter in VR, and it's a very good one. So they've made Arizona Sunshine the first one, and then they made After the Fall. So now Arizona Sunshine 2 is
Oh
coming
yeah,
coming to
Ghost.
PSVR2. It's coming to a bunch of other VR platforms as well.
I will say this, like this caught my eye because I have no idea what it's gonna be. It's weird because it's a shooter coming from Square Enix.
Mm-hmm.
This Foam Stars thing, which does look a lot like Splatoon,
Mm-hmm.
but with foam instead, and then you have like powers and abilities. It looks like it's either gonna be really like fun or really, really bad.
Mm-hmm.
It looked interesting though, for sure. And then Ghost Runner 2, excited for that because I did enjoy the first one. It's very fast-paced, like parkour slash cutting people up with the katana. Really fun game. Excited for that. And then Helldivers 2, which came out of nowhere for me. Big fan of Helldivers. It's like an indie game, top-down, bird's eye view kind of game where you're like kind of doing these missions and these. I can't explain it very well, but me and my friend Corey sunk hours into that game at one point in
Mm-hmm.
time, fucking hours and hours. But all the DLC, and it was such a small indie game. I was never expecting a fucking sequel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially not to be announced here. So that's interesting. I'm pretty stoked for that. It looks like they're going third person shooter with it rather than like the first game was very like retro, top bird's eye view, kind of like low poly. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So those were the things that caught my eye, at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is not part of the showcase, but so remember there had been reports about how PlayStation VR2 was like a complete disaster, and the sales numbers were like pretty low in like the 200,000 range. So apparently Sony revealed that the PSVR2 is actually outperforming the first PlayStation VR, and they have sold a little bit below 600,000, which is above the original PSVR, which was 500,000. It's interesting. I haven't heard much talk about the PSVR2. Then again, I really didn't hear much talk about the PSVR1 either. So it's possible that it has sold that many. I still think the price is just too much considering that you
It's
need
absurd. Yeah.
a
I think there's a
PS5
couple
along
reasons
with
as to
that.
why those statistics. I think there's a few reasons as to why those statistics are that way. For one, the PS5 sold incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
There was a certain point in time where nobody could get hold of it. You know what I mean? Even out here in South Africa, a lot of like you could get Xboxes, but you couldn't get the PS5. You know what I mean? That
Mm-hmm.
was like a big issue. So a lot of people had the PS5. And then what I think was, it's been a long time since the first PSVR. Since then, VR has entered our lives, our daily lives,
Yeah.
and like it's entered society a lot more. I think the fact that the PSVR sold so the PSVR 2 is selling as well as it is a big thank you to Oculus. You know what I mean? Making
Mm-hmm.
it a lot more mainstream. A lot more people have tried it. A lot more people have gone over to a friend's house and been like, "Hey, what's that?" And they're like, "It's an
Mm-hmm.
Oculus Quest. You got to try it." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so I do think like a lot of that helped out a lot. You know what I mean? Um, and it is a good piece of tech if you can afford it. But it's just once again like who is buying these things? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a lot of money to fork out for a VR experience where you're still tethered. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Your cost is what over G entry level without a game. So
Mm. Like what, like $1,100 roughly together, I think.
yeah. But anyway, supposedly they're selling okay. I wouldn't call that a huge success, but it makes things a little more.
Also, the PSVR 1, I don't think it sold well at all. To be fair, It,
I think it sold a
it's
lot
like
in the
yeah.
beginning because I remember that it's still being one of the top VR platforms when it was out.
I think it was. I think it. How much? Well, how much was it when it came out again? I always forget
It
that. But that
wasn't
was like,
as it was like three to
yeah,
400, I believe. If I'm not mistaken, it was around three to. The problem with the original PSVR was that it had so many components to it to set it up. It was
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. That extra box and
Extra
everything.
box. You need
Yeah.
a webcam. You need a webcam too. You
Oh,
need
it
the
was
extra
still four
box, the
hundred
webcam.
dollars.
Yeah, yeah. The
That's
webcam, the
yeah, damn.
box, the move controllers. It just it was just
Which
a
were ancient as well, which
yeah.
made no fucking sense to
They were
me.
terrible for VR. Now they got
I love
cool
how they were
VR games.
like, how do we make use of these things lying around people's houses? And it's like no one has those things lying around their houses anymore.
Yeah,
It's like a decade old, buddy. You know?
yeah. All right. This thing that you are super excited about. I've
Oh
never.
yeah.
So Diablo 4 is coming out soon, and there's been reviews coming out about it. Basically, everyone's saying it's fantastic. I think IGN gave it a
Mm.
9. They says it does like everything that you expect from Diablo, but even better. Um,
Every
my
single time there's been an open beta, like all my friends, they just like I don't hear from them for that entire weekend. They just
hmm
binge that game. So many of my friends are so sad that everything's getting reset on launch because they've already put so many hours in during all the open betas and stuff.
hmm
But yeah, it's looking good, Dennis. It's looking good.
This might be the first Diablo game that I actually get. So I've been back when Blizzard was out, I was like big into Warcraft, big into StarCraft. Diablo was the one thing I didn't get into purely because it looked like a dungeon crawler, basically, right? It was like,
I mean,
oh,
it
okay,
is.
I
It
know,
is a
but
dungeon crawler,
so if
yeah.
you see this version though, the environments are more varied, right? You got the snow, you got
Oh
the
yeah.
woods, you got,
They give
I
you a horse as well because there's so much backtracking in Diablo where it's like the way that the dungeon I mean like you said it's dungeon crawling. So the way it works is you hit a dead end and you got to backtrack. And that used to be the worst part about Diablo is taking like fucking 15 to 20 minutes to walk all the way back
hmm
through a dungeon you've already like done to find the right route. So it looks like I mean you got the horse, so that makes life a lot easier. I will say though, for you, like I think Diablo 3, if you've never played a Diablo game, Diablo 3 is actually the best entry like
hmm
barrier to the series. It's got the easiest learning curve, if that makes sense. Like yeah, Diablo 4 is going a little bit back more to its Diablo 2 roots. But yeah, like Diablo 3 is a lot more easy to access for some people to
hmm
play.
Also, the
But
enemies
I'm looking
look
forward
more
to this, yeah.
varied too, like compared
Mm,
to in my frame of reference is like Diablo 1 and 2, or just looked very samey, and that's why I just never got it. I had friends that were super into it, um, and they were like, "Oh, trying to upgrade the character and everything."
yeah.
But this looks much more up my
That was the
alley.
same thing. That was the same my issue with Diablo 3 as well. Everything kind of looked the same monster wise. So
hmm
they try to change it up by making them like glow different colors or make their attacks different colors, but they're still kind of the same monsters, you know what
hmm
I mean? I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm gonna put hours into grinding legendary loot. I'm so stoked for this game.
Yeah.
It's like I said, I gotta make a choice just because of time. Do I get this or do I get Tears of the Kingdom? Both I'm gonna enjoy. I think I'm gonna enjoy Diablo 4 more because the serotonin, the dopamine I get when I get like a legendary item is it's
hmm
so intense, so worth it.
But yeah, what's the date on this? It is coming out.
Soon, isn't it around the
It's
corner?
very, very, very
Like
soon.
literally around the corner,
Yeah,
yeah.
let me double check. Diablo 4 release date is. Why? You would think this would be like the first thing that pops up when you type in
Yeah.
release date. Well, there's an early access starting on June 2nd. Oh, okay.
6th of June, isn't that the release date?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah, the
so.
official release date is June the 6th.
Yeah,
So
so
yeah, looking
very,
forward to
very
that.
soon.
Apparently, and this is an extra bit of news, which I think is so fucking cool.
hmm
But the first 1,000 players to hit level 100 on hardcore will be immortalized in a giant demon statue. Now, I'm assuming they mean like in real life, like a giant demon statue at the Blizzard offices. Also, this might be the first thing Blizzard does right in like a decade. Okay, maybe no, not a decade because the original Overwatch was good. But
hmm
this is like the first thing Blizzard's done right, I think, since Overwatch came out. Because they've just been having some bad L's since then.
Yeah, and
Oh,
Overwatch 2 is
yeah.
getting not
Overwatch
so
2
great.
sucks.
Yeah.
It's yeah, well, like, they got rid of the whole story hero, like the part that people were stoked about, which is like having a skill tree and like having this character progression that you build. They're still gonna have the story mode, story modes or story
Hmm.
missions, but it's not going to be the same. I'm glad they're still doing the PVE, because if they didn't do if they said they were stopping PVE, I would be like, it's literally not Overwatch 2 then, because that's like the whole reason is that you're adding PVE and a bunch of these other things, which now they're not adding, but as long as they're still adding PVE. But then Warcraft 3 Reforged, that was horrible. After that, they outsourced to India. Um, oh man, it's just owls after owls. Diablo Immortal, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's been bad for them. So hopefully this might be the first like win they get in a while.
Yeah, yeah. Immortal got creamed because of all the pay to play
Pay to
crap.
win, yeah.
Yeah, pay.
A heavy
Uh,
pay to win, yeah.
um, Another game that I was excited for and actually got really good scores, but I'm actually less excited now because it's what I was looking forward to, which was the RPG kind of open world mode. Kind of did not get such great reviews for Street Fighter 6, but like
Oh
the actual
man.
game itself is getting a lot of good reviews. Um, and I used to be a hardcore Street Fighter fan back in the Street
Oh
Fighter
yeah, Street
2,
Fighter 2,
2
man. Yeah.
Championship Edition and whatnot, Turbo. I've kind of fallen off, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll get back into it. They'll have this open world. So apparently, the open world is very basic and very dull. And
Yeah. I will say, from what I was seeing from like clips and stuff, it reminds me of the story mode of like WWE 2K or something, like WWE 2003,
mm-hmm,
2004 SmackDown
mm-hmm,
versus it's very PlayStation 2. Like, I don't know, that's the only way I can describe it. It's an open world, but not really. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm,
Like, there's not
mm-hmm.
much there. It reminds me very much of like a PlayStation 2 kind of vibe, which I don't. I like the create your own character. I like their character creator thing. That's quite
Yeah,
cool, like I was saying. And the game looks dope. But yeah, it does look, the open world and the missions and the story does look very gimmicky. You know what I mean?
yeah. I was kind of hoping to be more fleshed out, but obviously this is their first time doing that. So, and
Yeah,
obviously it's not the focus of the game. The focus is PvP.
fighting. Yeah.
I just personally was looking forward to that particular part of it. So I don't know. I don't know if this
Build
is.
your character, get stronger, get like skills and stuff. That would have been tight, but it's really not that. It's really
Yeah.
not.
So I don't know. Maybe the next one will be for me. But other than that, it's been getting good reviews for its kind of core gameplay mechanics. So I think that's all I have. Oh, we want to talk about Gollum, right? Gollum.
Yeah, we can bring that
Oh,
up.
oh my God! People were just
That yeah.
killing Gollum. Like it already was being killed before it came out, and I think that one
Oh
of the
yeah.
developers like apologized basically, like that it was like look at this. Game developers were yeah.
Man, I will say that like when they first announced this game, I was stoked for it because they were showing you maybe they still do in the game. I'm not too sure, but they were supposed to be showing you a lot of the things that weren't in the movies that were just in the books,
Mm-hmm.
like little things about Gandalf and all the other characters. And I was looking forward to that. I like that idea of it because that was the only thing that I enjoyed about the idea. Because everything else, like, why the fuck would you want to be Gollum? Like who wants to be crawling around and you can't fight, you can't do anything. You know what I mean? You're like what can you do as Gollum besides sneak around and like listen in on conversations and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So right off the bat, I knew it was a bad idea. And then like a year after that, I think they released like some kind of gameplay footage, or it was some kind of footage. I think it could have even just been CGI cutscenes, but it looked horrible. It looked bad, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"There's no way that they can make this game good." And here we are, like a year or two later from that incident, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's trash. You know, the graphics look horrible. The game is glitching out. I saw one guy playing, and Gollum was literally just like frozen in the lying down position and just moving without his animation's just frozen and he's just moving around the map.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's bad.
Well,
And
the
what sucks is that
oh man.
this seems to become it's becoming a trend with video games, man, to have these incredibly disappointing launches, you know? And I don't know what it is that's like is it the testing that's going wrong? Is it the game test game? Do they not spend enough time with game testers or like early reviewers or I don't know what it is, man.
Yeah, I mean the graphics look like
They look bad,
PS3,
dude.
Xbox 360 graphics. And
Yeah, it's like
and
high end PS2 graphics, low end PS3 graphics, kind of. Yeah.
yeah, and look, graphics aren't the determining factor if a game's good or not, but like, combined.
Supposedly, they've been working on another secret Lord of the Rings game, codenamed It's Magic.
Mhm.
Like maybe that's what the fuck up was, is that they're working on two games at the same time and they're a studio that's not big enough to be able to do so. I don't know. I'm just speculating here as well.
Yeah, it
But
just looks
I
looks
mean with
bad.
like they may as well cancel that other game they're working on because I don't think anyone's gonna play it after this fucking release of Gollum, you know what I mean? And because
Yeah.
it's titled It's Magic, I'm gonna be led to believe it's probably has to do with Gandalf or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which would have been cool, but like now I don't fucking trust them for shit to make a game, you know?
yeah, I think the next Lord of the Rings game that I'll at least look at is the MMO, which is going to be very far,
Oh
far
yeah,
off.
the reboot of the MMO. Well,
Yeah,
not
like
even a reboot, just their own take on it or their own version of it. Yeah.
yeah.
And yeah,
Um,
it's Amazon. Amazon's doing that. I think
yes.
they're gonna learn a lot from New World, and I think they're gonna do good on that.
I
Well,
do.
hopefully they're gonna learn a lot from New World and then do good on that.
Hmm. All right, that's all I have, but I know you have a few more items on the
Yeah.
list.
I'm gonna mention. I've just got two things left. One's like semi-big, at least for me, and then one's small, which is this, which I didn't know about this. So Dolphin is a Nintendo emulator. I don't know what it. I haven't used it in years, but I used to use it to emulate Nintendo DS games and a lot of other. I think it emulated everything except for Nintendo Switch. I think there is a Nintendo Switch emulator out there, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want people to take it down. Um, But yeah, so Dolphin, it's an emulator. It's a Nintendo emulator specifically that went and it like was getting a Steam release, which which obviously did not go down well because Nintendo strike the crap out of that.
Hmm.
So now yeah, the emulators, the Steam release is indefinitely postponed after a cease and desist letter from Nintendo. But what were they thinking? It's a Nintendo emulator. Like you can't put it on the Steam store. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's one of those things as well where it's like you're just getting greedy at that point because if people want to play and emulate a game, they will Google how to do that. They will go through they will find your website, they will find your product. You don't have to put yourself on Steam.
No.
So that was just like, oh, that's also just a dumb fucking thing to do. You don't mess with Nintendo, man. You just don't. Um, yeah, Nintendo put out like a statement as well, being like it harms development and ultimately stifles innovation,
Hmm.
which I don't think is the terms I would have used. I don't think it really does any of those things. I think it's harmful as hell to the industry though, like especially because it's well not really harmful because you can't emulate PS5 games and you can't emulate Xbox. You know, not yet. Like only now, like I can emulate a PS3, but it takes up almost all my processing power on this PC. You know what I mean? To
Hmm.
emulate a PS3. So like PlayStation and Xbox will never have that issue, but Nintendo will always have that issue. Right now, you can emulate the Nintendo Switch perfectly on your PC and not even me be that resource heavy. You know what I mean? So right now, I'm not gonna lie, Nintendo does have an issue where people on PC can pirate their games rampantly at the moment, which we do not condone on this channel.
Hmm.
We do not condone that. Um, so yeah, so when they say it harms development, the only people it harms is them. Nobody else can. You can't emulate God of War Ragnarok PS5 on your P. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to do that. Um, but yeah, dumb move by Dolphin. And then the last bit of news I have, which I think dropped literally today or a couple hours ago, and I'm so stoked about this, is that Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is coming to PC.
Oh, nice.
Um, Super stoked about that because it makes sense as well because Sony all of their exclusives have been going to PC eventually,
Hmm.
and this was a game that came out about a year ago, so it makes sense. So Sony seems to wait about a year before doing a
Yeah.
PC release. It looks so good. It's gonna have extra features, ultra wide display support, performance enhancing upscaling technology like NVIDIA DLSS, which I use a lot. I use NVIDIA DLSS a lot. I'm assuming you do too because we got the
Hmm.
same graphics cards. Um, unlock frame rate and like a bunch of other stuff. So that's nice. They always like I've noticed that they always well, not with everything, but with like half their games that they bring to PC, they always add like little extra things which I quite enjoy a lot. But I'm looking forward to that because I was speaking about PS3 emulation. I was trying to emulate a Ratchet and Clank game because I miss those kinds of platformers, and they're not really on PC. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Um, so yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. I was just kind of craving this game, and it's soon, July 26th, man. You know, it's not too far away.
Yeah.
Um, that is the last bit of news I have. But yeah.
All right, cool. Speaking of PC stuff, so I tried, and we had talked about this before, but I
Oh
hadn't tried it
yeah,
yet.
right.
Redfall. Oh my god, it's a disaster. And
It's bad, dude.
when I
Yeah.
say unplayable, I don't mean unplayable like oh the quality's bad. I'm talking about it's actually literally unplayable. It started. So I tried to load up Redfall on my PC, and it literally stuttered on the intro. And do you know what you've played it, right? Do you know what the intro
Yeah.
is? The intro is
Yeah.
static pictures just moving slightly. And it's
Dude,
stuttering on that.
it's weird that you had that. Well, then again, maybe there's like a because I actually had zero visual bugs on my
Wow.
playthrough.
Oh
I
my.
had and the game actually looked really good on my playthrough.
Oh my god.
The thing is, they've had so many patches since then. They probably patched it badly on your version. But the issue with, like I said, the issue when I played the game, and I played for at least half an hour, I kept going along because I was like, it's got to get better or something.
Mhm.
It's just that the NPCs were so bad, dude. Well, the game was bad. Like
Mhm.
not, and I don't mean bad. How to explain it? Like my experience wasn't bad. It was that the game was too easy, and no matter how hard you pumped up that difficult, it was just too easy. You didn't even have to sneak past. You could just walk. You could honestly walk through you could probably walk all the way to the ending of that game and not even have to kill something. Like, you know what I mean?
Don't you?
It was bad,
I
dude.
mean, can't you just steal the AI from like your other games? You know what
You
I
right?
mean? Like copy and paste the AI you had for Deathloop. I mean, I'm wondering. I'm thinking, has a developer ever like dropped that low from? Personally, for me, Deathloop wasn't the game of the year that other people had said. But whatever. A lot of people felt like it was in their top five,
Yeah.
top 10, or best game of the
I mean,
year when it came
to be
out.
fair, with Arcane, their NPC or their games that have NPCs and stuff, they're not really aggressive NPCs, and this game needed aggressive
Hmm.
NPCs. You needed vampires to be running at you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like every single time I saw an enemy, they had their back turned to me, and then when they did turn around, they just kind of looked at me like, "Huh? Who are you?" You know what I mean? Like they looked more lost than I. Like that's it felt so dumb playing that game, man. But yeah, you're
Mine,
like but to be fair, the NPCs are so bad. They could have, even if they took like old, like Dishonored NPC AI, that would have been better than what we had. You know what I mean?
yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. I uninstalled it. It's
It's like 100 gigs as well. It's
it's
like
a
it's
hundred
too big of a game
gigs.
to be that bad.
I
You
tried to
know?
play the first 5 minutes. I couldn't do anything. Textures were popping in and out. I have recordings. I recorded the first 5 minutes.
Oh
It's just
wow,
like
dude.
the audio was out of sync because of the stuttering, and that was on the intro with no moving anything. It's just
Dude, yeah.
it
I
was
had the game
terrible.
looked great for me. Like I said, the
Yeah.
game actually, at least on my playthrough, the game looked pretty freaking good. Actually, it looked really pretty. But the game just sucked. Like
Hmm.
I was just headshotting everything. Nobody was looking at me. At one
Hmm.
point in time, people were shooting me, and I was just standing still, and they weren't even hitting me. And people like things were just walking the walls and shit, and it was bad, dude. It
Yeah.
was
So
it's I don't know. Yeah.
it's
I
not
feel like it could have been so good, and they fucked it up so bad.
because
And I
like
don't think that they're gonna try to fix it.
the other game that has had some PC problems, which is Jedi Survivor. I'm still playing,
Mm.
and I didn't quite have the graphical issues that other people were having. I mean, I did crash once. Sometimes it would stutter. It has gotten better through the patches. I did have something new happen. I don't know if hopefully it doesn't remain, but like I had to where my controller would stop working as I'm playing the game, like mid gameplay, which is weird. I restarted my computer. I haven't played it again, so I'm going to try playing it again. Hopefully maybe that's gone. But otherwise, it has been that bad, and people have been complaining about that. It's like, dude, the
Mm.
Redfall is way, way worse. Way
It is way worse. Yeah.
like Jedi
Jedi
Survivor.
Survivor,
I
it's
got some
playable.
cool, yeah, and I got
Yeah.
the graphics are great and everything. Yes, the frame rate isn't a solid whatever, but still it
But
looks
it'll
good.
get there through patching, yeah. Like that's a game where you can tell like okay, there's a couple technical difficulties here. Like that's an optimization issue. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's more of an optimization issue. Redfall is just a whole nother issue. That's a whole like it's as if like a whole entire department didn't exist that they needed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and it's not like if I heard like Jedi Survivor is actually a lot of people love that game, and I'm pretty
Mm.
sure based on reviews and based on what I played in the first game that I know it's going to be good and I know I'm going to like it. Redfall, nobody's saying it's worth playing. You know what I mean? So why am I going
Uh,
to go through all this trouble?
That's how disappointing it was,
Yeah.
Dennis. It's and that's the thing is like that's the key word I think is disappointing. It's bad because the game sucks, but it's not like if the game was really bad, people would
Hmm.
be talking about it as like game breaking, like
Hmm.
Cyberpunk was like on the PS4, like super game breaking. Redfall isn't that game breaking. It's more just super disappointing, which is why no one's talking about it because it's like if you did play it, you're like, wow, this sucks, and then you moved on with your life, or you just heard from a friend how much it sucked, and then you moved on from your life. You know,
Yeah.
it's and like I said, I don't think they plan on fixing it, which sucks because it could have been a really cool co-op experience. You know.
Yeah. I think that thing's dead. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go
Oh yeah,
shift
dead.
my time to Jedi Survivor.
Man, I want to play
Um,
that game so bad. I will say my one critical takeaway from Jedi Survivor is that the atmosphere isn't as good as what the first game was. I just recently finished Fallen Order,
mhm.
and graphically, obviously, the game looks great, but the atmosphere in Fallen Order, every single
Mhm.
planet, it's so different, and it has that heavy Star Wars atmosphere. I don't know how else to explain it.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and it just seems like the new game is a lot of like deserty kind of areas. You just kind of see a lot of the same area. But yeah,
Yeah, I've only played the first two levels, so I'm gonna try and
but it looks. I mean, it's
again.
fun. The
Yeah,
gameplay
it's
mechanics
fun.
just like added a couple new features. You know what I mean? That's all I needed from them was I needed a continuation of the story and I needed some more gameplay mechanics, and that's exactly what I got.
Yeah.
So I'm super happy. Can't
So
wait to get back on it.
anything else you're playing right now?
A lot of indie games actually. There's this one
Okay.
game, and I'm gonna tell people about it because I hope that they can play it. I hope that you guys buy it. I think it's like a $10. Actually, I think it's like a $5 game or even less. It's
Mhm.
called Mecha Bellum. Mecha Bellum,
Hmm.
and it's a little like strategy. Now that I think about it, it's actually kind of like Clash Royale,
Mhm.
but with mechs on
Hmm.
PC. And it's actually really fun. I highly recommend. I bought it. I think it must be like $5 or something. Mechabellum. I'm
Mhm.
playing a lot of that. It's like a strategy game where the battles are automatic, so like the battles kind of take place, but it's the way you set your troops before the time that's the strategy element there.
Mhm.
And then I've been playing a lot of this game called Fabledom, which is actually such a cute little village builder game that's like set in like a fantasy kind of world where you're a prince and you're meeting other princes and princesses, and it's adorable, but it's like a little village building game. I've been playing that. That's been quite cute. And then a lot of Valorant as well. And then I also restarted Hogwarts Legacy lately because
Restarted
I
or just recontinued or continued on?
restarted because I completely
Really?
lost my place and I forgot half of everything. Well, like I remember the plot and where I was, but I forgot all the mechanics that.
Uh.
And the thing that was wonderful about Hogwarts is that they didn't just throw it all at you. They kind of you slowly learn the mechanics one at a time. So I was like, I may as well just restart. You know what I mean? And I've been having a good time replaying it actually.
Yeah, I gotta get back on that. I
Yeah,
kind of
maybe
want to
this time
finish
I'll finish it.
I think I want to finish
Mm.
Jedi Survivor first and then go back to Hogwarts, just because Hogwarts is such a
It's
big
big.
game and
Yeah.
exploration. Jedi Survivor is like it's a pretty straightforward. You're going from point
I'm
A to
t-
point B.
I've noticed I'm enjoying Hogwarts now more than I'm like taking it casually and not seriously because I've already played more than half of it or like it
Hmm.
probably at least like 75% of it. So I'm having fun just kind of casually playing it like in the background or whatever.
Hmm.
It's been quite fun. Um yeah, man. I keep restarting games just I don't know why and then I never finish them. Like I restarted Cyberpunk again recently. Um but that I did continue and actually that now I'm close to finishing Cyberpunk again for like the third time.
Well,
I don't know what it is about that
DLC.
game, man.
When the hell is
Come,
the DLC coming?
God,
That's I
who
don't think
knows,
they have
man?
I don't think they have a date yet.
No, no, it'll be fun. I hope it comes out soon while I still have the bug, or like before I completely finish the game. That'd be tight. Because I have a feeling after this time I finish it, I'm really gonna be done with it for like a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I uninstalled it for now until the DLC comes out.
I still can't believe how big Redfall was. Like that. It sucks for them because it's like 100 gigs is a space where it's like if you don't enjoy your experience, you're gonna delete that. You're not gonna. If it was like 30 gigs, I'd be like,
Mm-hmm.
let's maybe wait a while and see if it gets
Mm-hmm.
better. But
Mm-hmm.
no, it's 100 gigs. Goodbye, out the door,
Exactly.
in the bin. You know.
Exactly. All right, cool. Well, thanks for everyone who's been watching or listening. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog. You also can find us on anchor.fm, which is actually now Spotify for podcasters. So you can listen to us there. You can follow me on Twitter at ThinkHero or Instagram Dennis.tzng. I think I might change my Twitter handle now. The only reason I had kept that because that was my old channel. The only reason I kept that
Yeah.
name was because I was verified back in the. And you weren't allowed to change your name if you were verified.
Oh yeah.
You'd be unverified. And now that I'm not verified anymore because of the whole blue check fiasco, I might change my Twitter name, but I'll probably announce that once I actually do.
All right.
What about you?
Well,
Where can people find you?
well, you guys can find me on Twitch at It's Thespis, all lowercase. Should be a link in the description below. Once I get to 100 followers, I will stream regularly again.
Mhm.
And you guys can find me in the Revog Discord channel, where I'm always down to talk about
Yeah.
video games, movies, and the like. You guys can always hit me up down there as well. And yeah, check us out on Spotify. That'll help us out a lot too. Make sure you, if you are watching this on YouTube, make sure you give it a like. Give us a comment. Let us know what you guys thought about the showcase. And then yeah, hit that bell notification if you want to get a reminder every time we post, which is not frequent. So
Mhm.
definitely hit that bell. We will not be annoying.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, until next time, we'll see you guys later.
Later.